Hello and welcome to SBK Unplugged, Sheldon Bosley Knight's Land and Property podcast. My name is Kate Gould and I'm the host of the show. Today I am in the studio with our Lettings Director Rebecca Dean and our Senior Lettings Manager Josh Jones. Welcome to you both. Before we kick off, I'd like to say a big thank you again to Mill Street for hosting us in their amazing studio. Thank you very much, guys. So, Becca and Josh, we were here a few weeks ago to talk about our inaugural Landlord and Investors Evening, which happened recently. And I have to say it was a huge success. And so I wanted to get you back in to talk about it, a few highlights, the feedback we received, which I have to say was overwhelmingly positive. So, tell me about how it went and what you thought and, what our landlords thought, crucially.
I still feel like I'm on a bit of a condom from it, to be honest with you. It was absolutely fantastic. I think, given that it was our first event, it went better than I think we could have expected. The number of landlords and investors that were in attendance was just brilliant. Whilst we had a lot of landlords who did register to attend, I think my expectations were that would reduce quite substantially when the event actually arrived. The room was packed. We had a lot of colleagues from the business as well that were there to help and support and offer guidance on different areas of the business. Fantastic. And like you've already commented, the feedback that we've had has just been brilliant. But Josh has been in charge of pulling all of the feedback together, so I'll let him talk more about that.
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you to every landlord and investor who attended the event. It was really good, and the information that we've had so far and the feedback has been really good. A lot of people found the event really informative, found the information about the rental market really useful. So thank you if you did attend, and we hopefully will see you at our next event coming soon. I think that having such a good range of speakers was really good. We got some really good information from our landlords who were attending about the information that they received from the speakers, and they found that they could have a really good understanding of the rental market going forward for them. Again, as well, everyone found all of our staff really friendly, really useful, especially having all the different departments there was really great as well. We have a lot of landlords who cross over into commercial, auctions, land, sales as well. They were all there at the evening, and the information we've had from the departments was that it was really good, and they made some really good connections from that as well. It was really positive, and I can't thank anyone more for attending and giving the feedback that we've had, so we can take it into future events going forward.
Because I spoke to a few of the landlords in the interval and then again afterwards, and they were all saying how the information that was presented in the talks, because they were short, 10, 15 minutes worth, were really useful. They really honed in on the sort of important pertinent bits of particular issues, whether it was home-let. One of the landlords said he found the home-let talk particularly useful. So that was obviously really important to have that range of speakers. And it must be great for you guys because, this is the sort of information that these landlords need, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we got right when planning this event. There are so many changes within the industry. Obviously, we talk a lot about the renters' rights bill. We've, got the information on that. We've been sharing information on that as much as we can. And obviously, it's based on what we know at the moment. But there are other changes alongside that. But there are also other ways in which landlords can be supported and protected. And I think, home-let that you've mentioned specifically, we tell our landlords that we reference our tenants through home-let, that products and services can be offered through home-let. But I think hearing from them directly exactly what they do, what their systems are capable of, what's going on behind the scenes, what's involved in the referencing of a tenant, I think was quite an eye-opener for landlords. Obviously, we also had earnest grant mortgages there. We had HBO accountancy because, landlords taxation has changed, is still changing. Financial services, again, with what's going on with interest rates. it was all important, and I think the information that was provided on the night was very informative. Yes, there were only sort of 10 to 15 minute windows to get that information across. So the fact that the feedback that we've had has been really, really positive about the information and how beneficial that was is really fantastic. And I'm really pleased with the variety that we were able to bring to the evening.
That was really important. When we looked at setting up our first event, it was really key to not just have one speaker there who would just talk about one specific subject. We wanted landlords to go away and feel as if they've learned things about 4 or 5 different areas, really. And that was a really important scoring on our feedback form that we had. So I'm glad that was successful. And yeah, it was good that landlords who maybe speak to their branches day to day, who maybe talk about some things such as referencing, or they refer to mortgage advice, emergency grant, etc. They were able to dive into it in a lot more detail in the evening in that 10 to 15 minute window, and then go on and ask any other questions that they might want to know. So it was really, really important.
And I think the questions that came, from the landlords and investors to the speakers, the volume of the questions, I think just really showed the engagement and how important that particular topic was to each individual. And what might be important to one landlord was not necessarily important to the landlord sat next to them. And equally, each landlord would have been there for a different reason. But I do think that the questions that were coming to the speakers, either during the presentations or at the end, I saw a lot of our speakers having conversations with our clients during the interval and at the end of the evening. So again, I think the engagement there just shows how important that information was for landlords to receive.
Yeah. And I think also one of the things I found was that there were quite a lot of questions about the rent right still, which is currently going through. And obviously it's not looking likely to receive royal assent until certainly after the party conference season, probably towards the back end of October. There was, I sensed a sort of a little bit of a frustration that the implementation plan is not there yet from the government about what's going to be done and when. But the questions were very specific in terms of they all knew about it. They all knew the general points and issues, but it was the minutiae, and I think that showed a level of understanding about what's going on that is all kind of down to you guys for keeping them informed. And I guess that's one of the reasons why these events are so important, is to keep giving the landlords that really important information. And the feedback that I got from all of the landlords I spoke to was these events are really important because they give us the tools and they give us the information. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, it was quite interesting actually, because obviously you mentioned that, and that there is not yet a plan as such. It was February of this year that we were in the studio talking about the information that we had in relation to the Renters' Rights Bill and what was coming in. I think we had a 45-minute podcast on it, and we're now, 7 months down the line, the 8 months by the time the next parliamentary stage is reached on the 14th of October. So that's a long time to be talking about it and to be sending out updates to our landlords on the information that we have and we know. But I think, delivering that presentation on the evening and seeing the engagement, it was quite a scary one to be delivering actually, because for landlords, it does sound like bad news. And for those landlords that are here for the long haul and are not planning to exit the market and still see, having an investment property as a really good opportunity, they need to have that information and they need to have a good understanding of it. And I think they realised that as well. And from the questions that were coming in, that indicated that was the case. But we don't want it to be doom and gloom. The intention is not to scaremonger. Our intention is only to, give honest information as we know it to be at that time, but then to follow up with how we're going to support that as an agent. Again, from being in the studio in recent months, we've talked a lot about what we are doing already, and plans that we will have in place to be able to implement this big industry change and also support our landlords. But there were quite a few landlords that when I introduced myself on the night, they said, you're the lady that keeps sending me emails. I said, but I hope you've opened them and looked at the content. Oh, no, I haven't. Oh, well, there's lots of videos in there and podcasts. And I didn't realise that was kind of the message from some of them. But then at the end of the evening, the same ones came to me and said, I'm definitely going to watch your podcast now.
Yeah.
And I think it's, we've changed to video content rather than sending landlords great big long emails with all this information for them to read, and thought, well, you can just pop a podcast or a video on when you're out walking the dog or when you're driving in your car. You haven't got to be watching it.
Yeah.
It's just there to listen to the information. But yeah, it was quite interesting to hear that actually, even though we're sending this information out, not everybody is opening the email or the content. But hearing what is to come has made them say, actually, I need to do something with that information that you're sending to me because it's actually really valuable and important information.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was speaking to Kate prior to this actually, and we spoke about the feedback on the evening. We've had a landlord actually come up to us and said that he's got properties with other agents as well across the UK. And their agents are maybe being more reactive and waiting, which we don't want to be. We want to be that proactive agent who give the right advice and information as it comes in. And the renters' rights bill is forever changing. It's really difficult. We started the year with look at the pet scenario, for example, of pet insurance potentially coming in. Then there was a potential amendment to extending the deposit amount. And now we're maybe looking at a position where that's going to be scrapped completely. So it is forever changing. But by doing these podcasts and doing our evenings like the Landlord and Investor Evening, we're doing our best to inform our landlords and be that proactive agent for them. And that's what they want. So, I was really chuffed that the feedback from the evening was that. And if we can keep going in that direction, then hopefully our landlords will feel as if we're giving them a great service.
Because I read in one of the trade publications that there was a poll that said that most agents are not as informed as they should be and are not, by association, providing their landlords with the information. I mean, the renters' rights bill is going to have a seismic change to the whole rental sector, and they need to be informed. And that it worried me on one sense because I thought, well, there are thousands of landlords out there who are not getting all the personal information, but it's good for our landlords because we know that you're on it and you're doing all of these, podcasts, you're doing the evenings and things. So that's really important that we're kind of ahead of the game and making sure that our landlords are informed.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's getting that message across, isn't it? Because, we have been doing podcasts. We've been sending emails out to landlords with updates, definitely fortnightly, in some cases weekly. Leading up to this event, there were regular, reminders and sending people the form to be able to register and explaining what's going to be involved on the night, what sorts of updates I'd be getting. But I think if you're not reading the information or you're not understanding what that means, and I think that's also a difference as well. It makes a difference even when you are sitting in a room and you have got people in front of you actually presenting you with that information in person rather than looking at it in a video or reading it in an email. So I think it is about how you get the message across, and it's about capturing that audience as well, because we can pull together all the information and we can send the updates. Can't force people to actually then sit and open it and look at it. But so I think that's a message really from this one. Hopefully a lot more people will be watching or listening, and just be mindful that there's lots there then in your inbox, or possibly your deleted box, but hopefully not, that you could go back to. And we've got all of our podcasts on our YouTube channel as well, which you can refer back to get any information that you feel is necessary.
Absolutely. And with that in mind, and with such positive feedback, everybody, I gather, just said that they were, really looking forward to a possible next one. And there are plans afoot, I gather, for another event.
Yeah, that's right.
There's stuff in the works, So, look, we want this event to be the catalyst for hopefully many more events in the future. And being our first one, it's great because we can take what was really good from this event and also what we can improve and put it together and hopefully make an even better event for our landlords and investors going forward. And alongside all the content that we're putting out at the moment as well, hopefully more and more people will attend. So it'd be great to keep going in that positive direction, really. So there'll be more to come on that in due course. But hopefully from all of that, we can do many more events like this in the future.
Fantastic. Well, I have to say that, I was looking around the room and everybody was like hanging on every word that all the speakers were saying, which was really, really good. And it was a fantastic event. Everyone was so engaged, which is brilliant.
It was great. And I think the venue that was selected as well was fantastic because we had the room where all of our teams could set up. We were able to serve drinks. And then we had the main room where obviously the event took place. As Josh has said, yes, we've got some learnings to take from it. It was our first one. But in general, I think it went really, really well. And even the things that we could have done a little bit better or a little bit differently, they've not changed anybody's decision on whether they would attend another one in the future, because 100% of the landlords that have given feedback have all said that they'd be looking forward to joining a future event. So that's
really important for us. I'll be honest with you. That all the questions about the speakers and the venue and everything to do with that is really, really important as well. But to have 100% rate of every landlord who filled the feedback form and said they would attend again, that was great feeling for all of us. So hopefully we can do more of those events and again give our landlords as much information as possible so they feel informed on the situation. So
absolutely, and thank you to all of you who came along, and hope to see many more of you at the future one. Rebecca, Josh, thank you so much for coming in and chatting about us. It was a fantastic event, so well done, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.